Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you have done videos, and
And
I
on
have
Ketu in
seen.
the seventh
Yeah,
house. Yes, I have done. Should be Ketu in the seventh house. And today we are talking about retrograde planet.
yeah,
Incidentally,
yeah,
Ketu and Rahu are two planets which are always retrograde. So, and Goel sir always says that, there are times when they also lose their effect of retrograde. So, good way to start our
yeah,
conversation here with you about Ketu in the seventh house, but it's huge. You also have to see
yeah.
a lot
It's
of other things. Okay, we can't make a very strong generalized statement about spirituality, depending if with what it is sitting also. But that aspect cannot be overruled.
And yes, I have gone through all the videos, the analysis which you have made already. I have seen those traits or those characteristics in synchronization with the people in day-to-day daily life,
Thank
right?
you
So
so
they are
much.
very, very
Thank you,
nice.
sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. So Nimisha, I'll definitely take up your question later if you don't mind, because we'll start. Okay, there's lots that I want to put forward to you people today. So, and I'm sure you must be also waiting for it eagerly. So I'll start with the retrograde planets. Okay, and I'll definitely take up. I'll remember and call your name, and I'll take up your.
Thank you.
Okay. So today we are going to talk about retrograde planets. My interest in astrology started with retrograde planets because it was whenever I would read about it, I got very little information on retrograde planets, especially in the Vedic texts. It was generally not looked upon as a very good planet, except for the fact that it was said that it was very strong. And yes, it is very strong. We'll see physically why it is very strong. I will take a minute to tell you people that more than Vedic astrology, it is the Western astrology which has a huge data bank of on retrograde planets, and knowledge from anywhere is welcome, and it is very beautiful, that knowledge. So I have studied the old masters of Western astrology on their, on their experience with retrograde planets, and it has given me great results. Starting from here, what exactly do we mean by retrograde planets? They say the planet is going backward. In life, actually nothing goes backward. Even when the car is going backward, the time is moving forward. So nothing in life actually goes backward. So I'll just show you people one thing here to make you understand. While we are at it, okay, just see this. These two planets, the one in the red and the one in the blue, they're moving at their own speeds. We know that all the planets have their own speeds, okay? And as every planet moves, there, I'll give you a simple example. As when I was a child and we used to do a lot of train journeys, there were trains that moved at a great speed, and there were trains which moved at a slower speed, okay? Now, if these two trains came together, it always felt that one of the train was moving backwards. And we all know in reality it was not happening like that. But because they were so close, it seemed as if one was moving backward and the other was moving forward. The same situation, you can put it here. You will see here that these two planets are moving very closely. Okay, let's have a look at this. Don't look at the shadow it's casting. Look at look at these two planets. This is Earth and this is Mars. Okay. At any point, do you people, any of you see Mars moving back? Do any of you see Mars moving back? Actually, the planet does not move back. Now let's give a good look at the shadow that, or if somebody is standing on the planet Earth and following Mars, how is it that they would be able to see its path in on the horizon? You see, everybody feels as if it has created a loop, gone back on its path, and moved. Now, take a good look. Sorry. Now let's take a good look at this position when it comes here. When it comes here, it is closest to the Earth. Earth and Mars coming here, and at that is the point when it is at its deep retrograde motion. If anything is coming that close to you, okay, you can feel the sensitivity of that person. You get two pieces of cloth close to each other, you can feel that friction, you can feel that static energy. So similarly, when two planets, any two bodies close to each other will exert effect this on each other. That is a physics law of physics. So when any planet, the outer planets, especially Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, we are not talking about here because we are restraining ourselves to these three outer planets. Especially these outer planets, when they're very close to Earth, in such a case, they will exert huge amount of influence on us. And on the horizon, because the path is different, the circumference that they are walking on, their ecliptic path is different from ours. So that is why their speeds being different, we find it that they are retrograde. Now the entire contention of taking you through this journey was that you need to understand that it is not actually happening in the skies like that. It is a perception. The person standing on Earth at that point of time happens to see it like that. Okay, so it is actually a perception. So when people have retrograde planets in their charts, their perception is different from others. Have you understood? So they will, wherever this retrograde planet is sitting for you, say supposing it's a retrograde Jupiter sitting in the third house for you, then your speech, your way of creativity, because third house is also creativity, has a different perceptive to others. Your way of viewing a painting would be different. Third house also represents our father-in-law. So the father-in-law of any person would have a very different way of looking at things, or he will have a different kind of personality than the masses. If it's the same retrograde Jupiter, which is sitting in the fifth house, we know our children. Okay, fifth house we know is our guru, we know is our grandfather. Fifth house we know is our way of doing the aradhana or the shakti or the puja. So all these things can have a very different approach, and we can have a very different approach towards all these things in life, or all these people that the fifth house signifies. And fifth house being the house of children, also it's a putra karaka, it also represents your grandparents. So definitely the effect of this retrograde Jupiter on your children, on your effect will be very very different, absolutely different as compared to the others. Okay, now retrograde planet, again as I said, it's when we're talking about a planet, I always on a very on a I make it a point to always compare with the houses that they own in the Kalpurusha Kundli. And by the by, for all of you here, whoever is attending this, please do leave your email IDs with us on our phone, on our WhatsApp, so that we can send you a free book on retrograde planet. Ebook, it's a booklet. Okay, so now when we're talking about the Kalpurusha Kundli, you have to look into the houses that every planet is you know mm, has lordship over in the Kalpurusha Kundli, because the Mars has 1 and 8. Okay, and when we talk about Mars, you will see the kind of Mars, the aspects that it has, or rather the qualities when it is retrograde it exhibits, are very similar to its house that it is the lord of. Similarly, when we're talking about Venus, what does it stand for? It stands for money, it stands for relationship. It is the owner of the second house and the seventh house in the natural Kalpurush Kundli. Gemini, or rather Mercury, is all about, it's all about your communication. It is also about your ability to be good at business, to understand employment opportunities, and it rules the third and the sixth house of the natural zodiac. When we talk about Saturn, Saturn rules the 10th and the 11th house. How disciplined are you at your work? How much hard work and research are you able to put in? How big an association or small an association are you planning to form? How much open are you to change? Because Saturn is also time. Time does not stay constant. And finally, Jupiter is the ninth house, your jurisprudence, your ability to be a good judge, and your ability to give. Jupiter is also the ruler of your 12th house. It is the ability to give, it is the ability to see a lot of things on a big scale. So you have to take these qualities into consideration. Now, uh, everybody writes it. Many classics, not Indian classics but in the Western classics, have written, and many people today also write it, and including me, I also believe this, that when we're talking about retrograde planets, there is something that was not completed in some previous lifetime, and we wanted to complete it desperately. Lack of time, whatever, we could not. Okay, so it's I'll give you an analogy here. What happens is, I am cleaning my desk today. Okay, for some reason today evening I'm not able to complete the entire process. What do? The first thing tomorrow I come, and I am drawn instinctively towards cleaning it all. So this is one more thing, that if you have a retrograde planet somewhere, you will feel instinctual movement towards that path to complete that. Whether you are able to complete it or not in this lifetime, that's another matter altogether. Okay, so that is something that we will always be able to understand later on. But that is a place where you are forced by instinct. It's like the flow of the river. It goes on its own, it will always find its level. So as water finds its level, the retrograde planet instinctively moves towards the area that you wanted to complete. You've brought it with you to complete in this lifetime. Okay, so is that understood? Are we clear till here? Are we understood? So any questions still here? Then I'll take up, otherwise I'll move ahead. Okay.
Ma'am,
Okay, just a second. Before I finish, so one more thing. Don't you people see, when we put in charts, we either put in brackets or we write RX, right? So what is it that it represents? It is, if you really want to remember it, I always remember it like brackets, it's confinement and internalization. Okay, so when we're talking about a retrograde planet, it is more about internalized energy, which needs to find an expression. If it does not find an expression, then it can create a lot of havoc. Okay, and especially with Mars, I have seen that, and I'll continue with Mars. But before that, yes, Pratik.
ma'am, just one question, that you said that we also look at the houses which are ruled by the planet in the Kalpurush Kundli, and our view regarding those houses is different. Do we also look at the Karakatwas of the planet? Say, for
Yes,
example, Jupiter.
yes, I will be taking up. I'll take it.
Right, ma'am.
Okay.
Right, ma'am.
Okay. So now, as Pratik just said, that what about the Karakatvas of the planet? So that's a good place to start with. Anybody else has a question? Mr. Guha, do you have a question, sir?
Ma'am, can I?
Yeah, sure. Please, Nimisha.
Ma'am, like in my chart, I have maximum planets which are retro,
Yeah.
excluding Venus and Sun and Moon, of course
No,
not.
we'll not take up.
No, no,
we'll
no,
not take. Yeah.
No, I'm not coming on my chart. But then, ma'am, whenever, like, what does that mean? The way you said, ki, is it according to the Lagna we are supposed to understand, or is it through the Kalpurush Kundi?
We can
the
always
houses?
we can always do that. Yes, you can always do that. Always. That's never a question of not seeing that. You can always see the Kalpurusha Kundli, and you can always make out the reasons for it. We'll see the basic fundamentals where we are getting about a retrograde planet comes actually from the Kalpurusha Kundli. But then there is no ignorance of the fact that it owns a certain house in your chart, particularly, and owns certain houses rather, and it is sitting in a certain place. So if you have that chart, you're born with that chart for a reason. So it has to satisfy those points also. Like, does it denote pending tasks or karma? Yes, Mr. Divakar, I think you came in late. And yes, it does denote, as I had just previously mentioned. So, say supposing Mars, okay? So you have somebody has a retrograde Mars in their chart, okay? Now, retrograde Mars shows deep-seated sexual issues. It can be too much or too less, okay? Uh, what does the which house is very active, proactive in that sexual activity, which is very much hidden at night and all those things? It's the eighth house. Mars in the Kalpurusha Kundli is the eighth house. It is an imbalance either, and that is an energy which has gone, which is present. You do not know how to utilize that energy. I know that yesterday evening I stopped cleaning my cupboard, and today I have to start it all over again. But from where, how is something? Maybe I have a memory loss. I do not know, and I need to do it. So that instinct about where to start, how to start, will slowly, gradually come in place. So it's very important to trust that instinct. Okay, if you do not trust that instinct with retrograde planets, it's very important to have a very touch base with your instincts that ways. Okay, and
Can I ask one question, ma'am?
you please do, but let me finish this, then
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
do that.
Yes.
Anger issues which are sporadic. Now, what is Mars? Mars is all about the zest to live, the energy factor. If we talk about Mars in one word, it will be energy. It's a fiery planet. It is a planet which does all the work, and without, if that Mars factor in your body is weak, you will always be lethargic, won't be able to complete work. But when this energy is not handled properly, it gives rise to a lot of anger issues and frustrations, because we do not know what's going to happen, what we are going to see. So that is also one of the things that we really need to, with this retrograde Mars, you will be able to see. And I have seen that in cases of with my case studies that I would pick up from various places and study, I have seen that many criminals will have a retrograde Mars or a retrograde Venus in that. Okay, so it also denotes undefined direction of life. As I said, it's the Lagna Lord of the Kalpurusha Kundli. And the Kalpurusha Kundli gives us the reason of our birth. Okay, or our Lagna gives us the reason of our birth. So when this energy is restricted, this is undefined, it does not know where it is traveling or what it has to do. Just imagine putting being blind, playing blind man buff, and you are not able to locate things in that room or people you're playing with. After a certain time, you feel absolutely frustrated and say, I'm not going to play. So this is the same thing that this retrograde Mars does. But once it's found a direction, once you start trusting your instinct and find the direction, okay, then it has the ability to take you places, because then it gives you the ability to uh, it gives you an ability to think. See, the retrograde Mars, if you look into what Uttar Kalamrita says, Uttar Kalamrita gives a very good view about Mars. It says it can be a thief, it can be a soldier, and it can also be a general. Okay. And if any of you go to one of these shops where they give you a printout of your a birth printout, in 99.99%, it'll give you all the options possible that you can be in this lifetime as a profession. Okay, 150 options at least they will give you, that this is what you can be, this is what you can be, and this is what. That is the speciality of a computerized program. So what makes it what differs this retrograde Mars from the general from the the direct Mars? As I said, this is an internalized energy, and it is a step back. You will always see that when a game is being played, okay, one, if you take a step back for a moment, don't we hear it many a times at home, at office, at work, so many places, please step back. What does that mean? It gives you a pause, it gives you an ability to move back and view the situation on with a wider lens. And the moment you do that, you get a bigger picture. The thief will come, steal, and go. It's a very short term thing that he's doing. The soldier will do as directed. Okay, if the Mars is on a better level, when the general looks at the things, he is not out there on the battle to kill people. He is here in the battle to plot, plan, to win the situation. Okay, so what would the general do? He will always have a thought process which needs strategizing. And when you strategize, you take a step back, you see the entire arena, and then you make a plan. So this retrograde Mars has the ability of this general to take a step back and to then form a plan with the instinct that this person can then do something like this, where you have a counter um, uh, uh, you have a counter thought about what the other person can do, because it is like playing the chess game of chess. When people have retrograde Mars along with Ketu, I have found that these people are good at the game of chess. Okay. And okay, now Mars is, we talked so long about this being this, that, but Mars is also stubbornness. Okay. So wherever retrograde Mars is sitting, it will definitely give you stubbornness. It will give you sporadic anger, because you may not seem like a very angry person, and but you might just burst into volcanoes. So if it's sitting on the Lagna, this retrograde Mars, you can cause harm to your own self, because the Lagna is you. Okay, if it's sitting in the second house, by a sporadic anger, by a sporadic speech, you can create tensions during family festivals or within the family. So, or with your stubbornness, you can lose money out. So this retrograde Mars is good. Be instinctive, but don't be so stubborn that you lose the wood for the want of the trees. Sorry, you lose the trees for the want of the wood. That kind of a situation. You need to be very this, it will give you a ability to discern things, but you need to take a step back, trust a certain instinct, and then ask, where am I being led? It also answers. People do write and tell me that you're philosophical, but then yes, retrograde planets, as I have found, will give you an ability, will guide you, provided you're willing to listen to that voice. And if you're shutting that voice out, you will never ever be able to make it. That is something that I've seen. Now if it's in the third house, this retrograde Mars, and it is very strong there, your brother could be a very strategic person, younger brother, younger sister. Your father-in-law could be a one who would be having a long-term vision and would know how to do things in a very strategic manner. Similarly, if it's in the fourth house, your mother can have that abilities, or your spouse's boss can have that abilities. When we're talking the fifth house, I told you all the people they can be. In the sixth house, your employees working for you, with you, your workers, they can give you a very strong insight about doing things, or they could be working methodically like that. Seventh house, I have seen one thing, when we talk about the seventh house, a lot of times, if you have a regular Mars in the seventh house, okay, In today's day and time, we always do talk about Desh Kal Patra. In today's day and time, um Mars in the seventh house is kind of, we can say that, yes, please be very careful about your relationship. Okay. It's because of many reasons. But if it's a retrograde Mars, even if they're going for a separation, it's going to be very decent, without a lot of without a lot of problems. Are they're going for separation, so there is a problem, but it will not be very acrimonious as compared to what the direct Mars can lead you to. Okay. And when we are talking about the eighth house, it's the eighth house is your in-laws. So your in-laws can have a method or methodology of planning for the finances, or can have a very strong view about how to do things in life. Ninth house, your father could be like that, your guru could be like that, or whenever you're passing a judgment, you're not one of them to give a rash quick judgment. You will think it over. You will think what you needs to be done before you make a judgment. All this is very subjective to the nakshatra that planet is placed in. It is also very subjective to the house, to the the sign that falls in that particular house for you. This is very, very clear. Okay. In the 10th house, Mars, it is already Digbali. It is already Digbali in the 10th house, and then it also has a Cheshtabal. There, I think such a person would have no qualms taking up actions against the CEO also, if it's this Mars is badly aspected. But if this Mars is not badly aspected, this person is very, very determined to climb the highest of the climbs. They just need somebody to push them. But once they are there on a track, once they have found their muse, they will definitely move up higher. They found the ladder, they've been pushed up one rung, and then they know that they have to climb, and they will find their way up the top. Okay. In the 11th house, this Mars can get you a little dicey about where to invest, how to invest, what and everything. But once you know that your investments, the kind of people you want to meet with, and the kind of social circle you want to work out with, all these things become very, very clear then. Again, as I said, I'd repeat with Mars time and time again, trust your instincts. And if it does not have malefic influences, it will definitely take you long place. If this Mars has a malefic influence of, we are going to have a conjunction of Rahu and Mars pretty soon in the coming week, so then it can go ballistic. It can be very rash, because it's already Cheshtabali. You just need to trigger it off. Somebody just needs to give it one small push, and boom, it will blast. Finally, in the 12th house, when we have this Mars moving in the 12th house, retrograde Mars in the 12th house, in such a case, this person will be more giving. Okay. It's just that he would not know how to give, and initially you have to uh, push the person into be more giving and less selfish. But once that energy is opened up, these people can really know how to give, be it to their partners or be it to the world. These people would really know how to give. So any questions, anybody on this retrograde Mars?
Ma'am, can I ask?
Yes, sure, Shrimant. Yes.
Not about Mars actually. Just a common question. Like I'm just trying to understand like how this thing is behaving. What I learned, like if some planet is retrograde, it gives the result from the previous house. Right?
Sir, yes, continue, please.
So if that is correct, then my question would be like for Kalpurus Kundali, if Jupiter is in ascendant, for example, Jupiter is in the Mesa Rasi, then what the result it will give? Shall it give the result of?
I don't believe that. Honestly speaking, I don't believe that theory until and unless there is a very few degrees. Let's be practical, okay? If Saturn is 28 degrees of inner sign and it is retrograding, do you really think it can cross the 28 degrees in 3-4 months, go back to the next sign and come back? It is not possible. Say if it is within the 5 to 7 degrees
Mhm.
of the lagna, of the sign, then definitely it can have the power to switch back into the next sign and then come up. You have to see the degrees also.
Correct.
Will it be able to fall in the next sign?
If that happens, if that is
If
close to,
that
yeah.
happens, the moment it touches that sign, you have to see that yes, it will at that juncture, and that is more pronounced in transit. Say I have a retrograde Jupiter, say supposing sitting in Aries, okay, and it is or rather, if I have a retrograde Jupiter sitting in Pisces, which has come from Aries, I know that for a fact, because we can always see at birth, if supposing it is in Pisces, where is had it, was it in Aries in direct motion and has then traveled back, we can always make out. In that case, it could be that in when it is in transit, it will always give the result of Pisces. Or if I am born and it is transiting Aries, rather your question was that if I am born and it is transiting retrograding in from Aries, and it is say around 3 degrees in Aries, and there is a lot of time for it to retrograde to Pisces and come back, so what results will it give? As far as I have experienced from charts, I have always found that when it is retrograding in actuality, it will touch base with that in transit, it will give you the effects of Pisces also. That could be a time when you would be spending good money on charitable causes, you could be spending on gold, it could be a time when you could be buying things for a hospital, or your all these kind of things.
Okay, madam. Thank you. And what about the aspect, like the aspect would be
I take aspect only direct aspects.
direct aspect? Yeah. Okay, madam. Thank you.
Most
So,
welcome.
ma'am,
Hello,
according to
miss.
your
In continuation,
uh, One by one.
ma'am, so
in
is it like
continuation
good to
what
take
have
Chalit
asked.
Kundali for retrograde planets? According to your explanation, it looks like,
I do not work on Chalit Kundali's, Nimisha. So
because ma'am, as you said, like for the degrees, because
no,
until
I do not. Also, degrees we have to take according to science.
Hello, miss. I have one question.
Yes, Keshav.
Yes, miss. Usually we measure the degree of the regular planet by the is moving the anti-clock, and the Rahu Ketu we measure by the clockwise, just opposite. So what about the retrograde planet? It goes by opposite, same like Rahu Ketu, or just like a normal planet?
I could not understand your question, Keshavji, but I would still make an effort to answer that. See, retrograde planets are always moving in the anti-clockwise direction, and
Yes.
the Ketu are always moving in anti-clockwise direction. That's the direction that they take. Okay.
Yes.
And
So
Nimisha,
like no, my question is
just,
like hello.
just hold on. Nimisha, when you're talking about that retrograde degree, I am not talking about your lagna. I am talking about the sign.
but ma'am, we take a sign like the mid sign, whatever we take. Is it not from
I
the
I don't know. I do not take that. I do not take that. So I will tell you that that's not within my experience. And since it's not within my experience, I will not be able to explain that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome.
Okay. Miss, my question was like this. Like, okay, the Saturn is retrograde in Virgo, but it's going to the what is
Leo.
the Libra. So how you measure is from the Libra to
Excuse
Virgo,
me.
or is from the
You're
like?
wrong. You're wrong, Mr. Keshav. You're wrong. If it
Oh,
is
okay, yeah, that was my
retrograding,
question. Yes.
if it is retrograding from Virgo, then it will retrograde to Leo only. It cannot retrograde to Libra. It will move to Libra only when it is in direct motion.
Okay, so like okay, Saturn is like
Next question,
10
please.
degrees. So
Yes.
10 degrees from
Sir, we'll
Leo
take it.
to.
Mr. Keshav,
Yes.
will give others a chance, okay, if you don't mind.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I heard a couple of voices more if you want. Otherwise, we'll go ahead.
So, ma'am, when you were explaining that during the transit, if it is at a cusp of two signs, say it might give the effect of the previous
It's
sign
not
as well.
might. It will
But
give.
does that happen when a okay? Does that also it happens only during the transits that we see, or also in the birth?
See, it should give. It should give in the birth chart also. Okay, but the degree has to be very, very near. It has to be very small a degree juncture. Okay.
Like 28, 29 degrees if it is at.
Yes. If it is in 28, 29, then it is retrograding. Let's not talk about a direct planet. If a planet is at 2 degree retrograding, then it has a chances of falling back into the next sign. In that case, it will give the results of the next sign. But if it is retrograding at 15 degrees, okay, it's by far it has to cover halfway to that sign. So definitely I'm not going back into that sign. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome.
Hello, ma'am. So I had a question.
Yes.
Please. Yes.
Sure.
So I have Mars and Jupiter conjunction in my natal chart, retrograde Jupiter, in the sign of Capricorn.
No,
Yes.
I'm not taking personal questions. I'm not taking personal
Oh,
questions.
okay. No, but I mean, others can also benefit from this question. As
I
my
am
question
sure,
was,
following your example, others are going to give me their charts and say everybody will benefit. And then everybody actually might be at loss because I'll not be able to finish a lot of it for all of you. So I'll have to
okay,
let it go. Please don't mind, Jayesh.
okay, ma'am. Okay. Yes, yes.
Okay. So we move on. See, there's a very beautiful chart of Jayalalitha here that I would like to put in front of you. When I'm talking about Pratik, right at the beginning, talked about the Karakas. Okay, I talked about Mars. Yeah, Mars is the Lord of the 6th house and the 11th house, aspecting the 10th house also, and the 9th house. And it is, where is it sitting? It's sitting in the 3rd house. Okay, Jayalalitha was in a relationship with MGR. It's a known fact, but he never legalized that relationship. Mars gives you an infinitely strong memory also. Okay, people with Mars, a strong Mars will have a very strong memory also. Let's not forget it is the ruler of the Kalpurusha Kundli first house, which also talks about your brain and your mind, head. Okay, so that was a slight she never forgot. She rose to power. She rose to power at a great speed, and she sat on that chair and then coolly started getting back payments in what should I say, in spades. She started meting out those things to people in spades. Third house is a house of your courage. Third house is a house of your vision, of your subconscious mind. It's sitting with moon. Moon is your mind. Okay, and she had a very, very dynamic mind. If she wanted something, she was very stubborn about getting it. And she could wait, she could strategize, she could wait. See, it's also I'll take up that nakshatra to at the end to make it more very solidifying a fact. But you see, what else did she show? She It was in the papers long back that, when these actors in that time, in those times, it's still a very patriotic society, but in those times it was heavily so. And when Mr. Gemini Ganeshan or anybody walked in the sets, all of them had to stand up. She never forgot those kind of slides also. She got her son, her adopted son, married to Gemini Ganeshan's granddaughter, and then she said that I am the groom's mother. People need to respect me. Can you understand the theory that it is every single slide she has not forgotten? She has strategized every bit of her political career. to the end. She has gained from people, from a film actresses to Amma. That journey was not easy, but she did not lose her courage or her vision. And best part is, when I was talking about the undefined life path, she was an academician. She wanted to become a lawyer. The functionings of a lawyer is also very careful. All her life she was a lawyer, so she did not get that degree. Her mother pushed her into the acting profession. Third house is creativity. Third house is creativity, and third house is all about your acting skills, also your skills. And her mother pushed her into that career, and then she flourished. She vanquished her enemies, because as the sixth lord, this Mars is also aspecting the sixth house. She made sure that she moved to the top of the career. That's a different thing, that Venus is posited in, and it's a fifth lord in the high position, in the government position. That adds on to her ascent to the power. She was one of the reasons why the Vajpayee government the second time round failed and fell. Because when she did not need them, she withdrew her support. This is strategy. This is deciding what I want when I want it. So this is showing a great Mars, and malefics in the third house are good. Mars is the Karaka for the third house. So can you see her courage and valor? It was very understated. Had there been, it was very understated courage and valor. She didn't go out openly and tell people, how dare you ask me to stand up in front of you. She never did that. She said, all right, I'll stand, I'll bow to time. But then she made a vow to herself that I'm not going to forget anything that you people did. And time doesn't stay the same, and you will also have to pay. So all those things, that Mars was able to give it to her. Can you understand how this Mars, retrograde Mars, is working with the pinpoint military precision? Okay. And this Mars is definitely taking us on a very strong tangent when it is also aspecting the ninth house. It is also it is being aspected by the third lord also. So it gains that strength and says, yes, jurisprudence, I move according to myself. Because it's Mercury also. Mercury, she spoke less, but whenever she spoke, it was very calculated, and it was very, very definite, very strategized. So that brings me to Mercury. When we talk about Mercury, Mercury is that planet, third house of communication. Mercury does not allow you, a retrograde Mercury will not allow you to talk lots, because it wants you to process all that you're hearing within yourself. Let's not forget the internalized energy. And then it tells you that please go ahead, and having processed it properly, then whatever needs to be said has to be said properly. So this is one of the facts that a retrograde Mercury always does. Here it's sitting in her ninth house. What does ninth house say? Ninth house is all about law and order. It's sitting with sun. I mean, there cannot be a bigger planet, at least in our solar system, than sun. So it's showing her ability to be at the helm of all government affairs. Okay. So any questions here, anybody, before I move on to Mercury?
I want to ask you a question, please.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, there are two questions. What about the aspects of retrograde planets? And also, if a planet any other planet is sitting with the retrograde planet, then how it behaves, please? Like in this case, there is Moon with Mars. So
yeah.
How it will behave? Thank you.
So if there are two trains, okay, so I'll just, so that the concept is clear, if there are two trains, one is going backward, the other is moving forward, they don't affect each other. People sitting in the trains may feel the effect, but they're not in sense, the other one is not pushing the other to move in their direction. They will continue to do their own works. This moon will, this person will feel the effect of retrograde Mars. Moon is mind. So her mind would be thinking before reacting. And its sun is authority. It's sitting with retrograde Mercury. So before replying back to any authoritative person, she would always think in her mind that what is correct and what is not correct. And then I will reply back to that person. Okay.
Ma'am, how do exalted retrograde planets work?
I have, Nimisha, I have this on my YouTube channel. Please do search for it and then you will find out.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome. Archie, your voice is not, Archie, your voice is not audible.
Ma'am, supposedly there is a and a slow moving planet. For
If you could
example,
write
Mars
it,
with Saturn.
if you could
Ma'am,
write,
can I ask?
if you can
Ma'am,
write in your,
can-
just like
Ma'am, can I ask a question, ma'am?
we had a lady asking before you, Sarbash. I
Ma'am,
will.
can I ask?
Yeah,
How
please.
will you see a debilitated Mars being retrograde?
I always call it a Cheshtabali planet. And I would still say that the person would always be on a pursuit of doing things. Putting in a little more energy, the person will always have more of work to do, more caring towards people, and will be very strong about the security of their home.
If it is in third house?
I will not go ahead and take personal charts. I'm very sorry. I've made it
Can
very
we go
clear.
Can
Ma'am,
we go forward, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, we can go forward, and I'll
ma'am, I
take
have
just.
actually
I'll just take up.
two questions, ma'am. Ma'am, ma'am,
Yeah.
suppose if Mercury is retrograde and also Digbali, ma'am, so how can we interpret the results, ma'am? And second, if a
Yes.
planet is retrograde and debilitated, ma'am, so should we consider
Retrograde
it a
and
debilitated
debilitated
planet
is another factor that I have made a video on. You can always visit that video, okay? And
so,
that
ma'am,
will add
how
on
can we
to.
interpret if Mercury
We'll
retrograde and also Digbali, ma'am?
Yes, so if it's retrograde and Digbali, then it's a very beautiful planet. This person has exceptional talent about earning money and self-preservation. Mercury was born with the instinct of self-preservation. Okay. Now, supposing Mercury, as I said, Mercury is all about finance also. We all know a good Mercury gives you great accounting abilities. A good Mercury gives you a very strong, and if it's a Mercury sitting in your second house, which is retrograde, you will definitely count. You are not a penny pincher. You are not a penny pincher. You're not, it's not that you would want to, be stingy about things, but you will be very aware of your finances. Why? Because this is the second house, is the house of finances, making this retrograde Mercury work much more there. You have to see which house it is sitting and how, and if it's in the third house, it's about communication. So whenever you're communicating things, you will feel as if you need to be very right in your communication. Internal communication has to be very straight, and then it comes out. Don't forget that this Mercury is also all about learning. I've always found that these people have a tough time learning things way others have taught them. They will not learn it like that. They will always take time out to put in their own formulas, own way of doing things, and then they will learn it. Another thing you need to understand is that this retrograde Mercury is all about the financial part I have covered. It is also your thought process. Your thought process will be different from others because it's the lord of the third house. So the same communication somebody would be very direct in, you could really be softening the kill in your communication. Whenever we are okay, my now question to all of you is that after a hard day's work, why do we need to rest? Anyone of you can answer.
To recharge
So that the body can restore itself.
To recharge the body also. Yes, Rajesh.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So why do we need to recharge our body?
So that we can feel refreshed and ready for the next day, ma'am.
Thank you. So we can feel refreshed and ready for the next day. Now that is a very important factor. The refresh, the recharge, the restart is something all retrograde need to be seen with. Okay. Then in such a case, what happens is whenever in transit you find a planet that is retrograde. Mercury, I take it in particular because the poor guy retrogrades 3 times a year, and as whenever anything goes wrong, we blame it on retrograde Mercury. Okay, but the thing is that is it is asking you that please step back. Okay, look into your communication properly before you communicate things to others, and you will not be wrong. Most of the times when we are communicating, we do not think at all. We say it flat on. So that is why this retrograde Mercury has the ability of causing misunderstandings in speech, because people say flight travels, your air tickets. Why? It's a sign, airy sign. If you do not keep it properly, and it's a dual sign, it's a retrograde planet, it will show multiple effects. Check, recheck. Schedule, but do not reschedule, do not work so that you have to reschedule. So when you do things like that, you're not bound to come back to this poor retrograde Mercury and say that, it was a Mercury problem. Be on time and Mercury will help you out. Be perfect, because Mercury is also accounting. In accounts, you have to balance your debits and credits. So if you are perfect on that level, it will definitely not cause a problem for you. When Mercury is retrograde in the 4th house, you will make sure that your bank balance is secure. Okay, you're not going to make rash investments here and there, and you're going to be more of a investments in areas where you know that your bank is going to be recharged. The younger people in your family are safe and secure. When Mercury is retrograde in the 5th house, you will be very conscious of the mantras that you use, of the formulas that you use, of the words that you're studying, of the are you making an effort to study anything which is of practical nature? Because Mercury, for all that knowledge it is very practical in its knowledge. Okay, so Mercury is all very practical in its knowledge. So Mercury in the 5th house will give you an ability to be practical in your subjects that you choose for higher knowledge. 6th house Mercury, you want to be the best in your accounts department, and you will want to be 6th house Mercury can make you very, very financially very strong, aspectually very strong, and it will also want accounts for everything, every place you're spending money. So if you know anybody in your circles who has Mercury in the 6th house and it's in a good position, definitely put that person in the accounts department, because he will want a bill for everything and he would want to know how you have made that expenditure, he or she. When we're talking about Mercury in the 7th house, then either you will not get married, either there will be multiple marriages, or you want to a partner who's more of a friend, who has a more of a jolly nature, a partner who's adventurous also in some ways, in the sense has a childlike attitude of learning and teaching in life, and somebody who is very more of a friend rather than a life more of a friend rather than a partner for sure. Okay, Mercury in the 8th house, that's retrograde Mercury in the 8th house. You will definitely want to do as much as collect as much as knowledge as possible. Sometimes you go berserk collecting your knowledge and you don't know where to stop when you're doing your research. So anybody who has these planets, as I said about Mars and Mercury, anywhere in your charts, do write in your confirmations at least. So you would not know where to stop researching. Okay. And that is a point where you need to learn. Okay. Thank you so much, Archie. So as I said, it shows issues about learning. Okay. And I've always found that you need to focus, as I told you, people right there, you need to focus about find your own plans. But once these people know how to learn, they are very good methodical teachers. Okay. And they're very good methodical teachers. They know, they have developed their own way of teaching, and they impart knowledge very beautifully. Okay. When thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Bhagyashri. So uncanny ability to motivate people. Now this is Mercury retrograde. Okay. Mercury is all about speech. You're thinking 3 times before you say somebody anything. In such a case, you will always want to speak the right thing. And when you're speaking the right thing at the right time to somebody, you have the ability to motivate those people. Okay. So this retrograde Mercury will always give you an ability to motivate others at all times, even if you're feeling a little shaky. Okay. So I think we're nearly time. Thank you so much, Archie. Anybody else who has to say anything? Any questions that you need to ask?
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
How does retrograde Mercury work with the nodes, Rahu Ketu?
Okay, fair enough. Good. See, I'll take up this chart of Avinav Vindra and probably touch base with Venus once, because I don't find much of a data on Venus everywhere. But see, it's very comfortable with Rahu. Mercury and Rahu are friends. Okay. So as far as, so it will take your, it will, wherever Rahu sits, it expand with whichever planet Rahu sits, it's Rahu's quality, that it expands the quality of that planet. So such a person will definitely be more intuitive, can have initially more issues about learning, but as they try hard and hard about learning or doing things on their own, then they become more successful in that area. As you are learning to motivate others, yes, Rahu and Mercury can give you one defective problem, and that is speech. So here you have to learn as to how to modulate your speech, and you have to learn to be good in your speech with others. This is one thing that Rahu, or rather it can also happen that such a person may not want to talk to anybody at all, or wouldn't know what to talk to people. So Rahu can be telling you, trying to tell you that you need to learn how to talk to others. It could be anything. Thank you so much, Archie. I think there's just Mercury left in the 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So when we're talking about Mercury Ketu conjunction, Ketu absorbs the quality of the planet it is sitting with. And so it can absorb the retrograde quality of the Mercury and may not give, a very strong voice or opinion to a person. That can happen. It's subject to whichever nakshatra. And when I was talking about nakshatra, the best part that I saw was for our lady here, Jayalalitha, her Mars was in Magha Nakshatra, the nakshatra of royalty, and she was all as royal as they come. She was as beautiful as they come, and she was as royal. She had people in her cabinet prostrating to her. Okay, so and she took responsibility. She showed that she was responsible for the poor. So it is as beautiful as you can see that. Okay, now when let me talk when I'm talking about nakshatra also here, depending on where it is sitting, depending on which house it is sitting, which nakshatra it is sitting, it will modify a lot of results. But this is the general result that you will find with each house. And when Mercury is in the 9th house, yes, higher learning of a different type. And you might though look at others, but you would want to formulate your own ways of learning in a high. You can go to an engineering college and you can say that what all that the professor is saying may be good for others, but it's not fair enough for me. I need to take it on a different tangent. You take it on a different tangent, you build up your own way of doing the higher learning, or you form your own circle of friends that would be in Mercury, retrograde Mercury in the 11th house. You do a group study with such people, and then you understand things on a better level. When it's retrograde Mercury in the 10th house, then you're one of the most loved persons in your office. Why? Because you know what to speak when and where and how. You can be sarcastic, but you can always be a very jovial sarcastic. So people will absolutely take it in a very funny manner and will not take an offense about it. Okay. And in such a case also, this Mercury can give you you can always approach that person, and ask, if a person has it in their chart, and can always approach a person, can you please tell me how do I approach the boss? And they will tell you how to do things very, very beautifully. Talking of retrograde Mercury in the 12th house, I think, see, these people are very good. Why? Because they have absolutely no care about the world. They live in their own zone, they study in their own zone, they're very empathetic, and they're very nice. Thank you, Archie. King and queen of sarcasm. Yes, they are. Okay, so the Mercury in the 12th house is one of my favorites. Okay, so let's take this case of Abhinav Bindra. Okay, retrograde Mercury in the 3rd house. You do things which are different from others. Okay, and you see it's in the 3rd house. We all know, at least Indians know, that who Abhinav Bindra was. That was a day of jubilant celebration across the country, because he was one person who gotten gold in the Olympics, the first and the only person till it. No, I don't know whether it's the only person, but yes, the first person. And it's in the 3rd house of hands. Again, we need to understand that as far as motivation is concerned, yes, he's been a motivating factor for many sportsmen who've wanted to take up athletes. He did not find a place in India where he could train very well, so he used to go abroad to train for his shooting and everything. And it's also the Lord of the 12th house. So when we are talking about whether the Lordship applies, yes, the Lordship applies. Okay, and here it gives him an ability for travel, long distance travel, and also gives him a very strong known. So you see, it's an exalted planet and it's also retrograde. So anybody who will say that an exalted retrograde acts as a debilitated planet, will it? It's the 3rd lord of hands. Can it act like a debilitated? See, I will not dispute about what the elders and what the classics have written. They have their own view and they must have written with certain reasoning. But we need to understand the rationale behind it instead of quoting it verbatim. That is very important.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Amlan.
Actually, I would like to say that in the chart you have shown, it is not fully exalted because there's a debilitated Venus, and the Saturn is also there, which is in direct conjunction with Sun. So that is also partly destroying the Sun Mercury combination. Though it's a kind of Venus, but still debilitated.
Have you ever heard of the word? Have you ever heard of the word Nijbhang?
Yes, ma'am. That is occurring, but Uchchabhanga is also occurring.
Have you heard of the word Cheshta Bali?
Yes, ma'am. Cheshta Bali, I know.
And for that, you need to see my video on exalted retrograde planets.
Madam, sorry, can you please show the previous slide, the triangle slide?
Yeah. So
thank you.
You're most welcome. So you know what, we may feel, yes, I am not denying the fact that there is a Neech Bhang and there's also a Uch Bhang. I agree. But when when there are 4 planets in a house, how do you work it out? You need to see the degrees also of the planet, and by degree also would mean the nakshatra that a planet is sitting in. It is sitting in Hasta nakshatra, which is also about hands. As I told you, you have to see the nakshatra. Okay, and Venus is in 1 degree. There's a 20-degree gap between these 2 planets. I mean, see, I can talk to my friend uh, through openly if my friend is sitting next to me. If she's sitting across the town, I have to use a device, and it's not easy for me to talk. I would not be able to talk. So the influence that Venus would be exerting on Mercury, or for that matter, Mercury to exert on Venus, is not very much. Okay, Mr. Paul?
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, I have two questions, please.
Yeah.
Ma'am, one question is that if there are 2 planets like retrograde in one house, तो ma'am कैसे होता है? And secondly, ma'am, aspects of retrograde planets, like the Shani hai, so it has 3, 7, 10.
Arshi, we are here on a English webinar.
Okay, ma'am, sorry. So, ma'am, if we have like Saturn has 3 aspects of 3, 7, and 10, how will the retrograde change the aspects of a matlab, aisa, like
That
random
I
example?
think we will have to take it up in some another webinar, because we are
Okay,
past our time. We are past our time, and I do want to touch bases
Sure, ma'am.
with Venus. I mean, if you people want to, if you people don't want me to touch bases with Venus, I'm fine with that also. We can call it a day.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so on the contrary, Mr. Guha, I've never found Mercury retrograde people sharing their opinions unnecessarily with anybody. In fact, they're very circumspect about the opinions that they hold, and that comes from my personal interaction with Mercury retrograde people. Okay, so we move on to the okay. So we move on to retrograde Venus. So Venus rules over our 2nd house, and it rules over our 7th house. The 2nd house is all about money. The 2nd house is all about education, ethics, moral values. Okay. And it is about family, your ties. So what is common between the 2nd house and the 7th house? It's all about relationships, familial, partnerships, personal and professional. So that, Nimisha, again, as I say, is a matter that we need to take up in some other webinar, because it will take again more than an hour to explain the entire thing. Okay, so and I just want to touch bases with Venus before we call it day. So when we're talking about retrograde Venus, okay, then we we have to see that it is about relationships. Getting right back to my first conversation with all of you, or rather to my beginning of my conversation, what did I say? I said that's your perception, right? So your perception in a relationship can be different from what the relationship actually is. And Venus is a lot about Venus is a lot about giving. It gets exalted in the 12th house of the natural zodiac, which is where you giving up the entire thing. Okay, so this exalted Venus, or this Venus, retrograde Venus, can have, as we were talking about money matters, it can show certain amount of stinginess. It can have a different perception to relationship. Okay, it can have very different perceptions to relationships, and it can have a lot of expectations, which can cause a lot of downfall or problems in relationships. These people will, as we talked about studies also, so thank you so much. This people are also as we talked about relationships, it's also gets exalted in the 12th house, which is the house of bed pleasures. So it can also give you a different kind of orientation, or your orientation can be different from the rest. Okay. And you can be in a marital relationship, in a family relationship. It can really cause a lot of uh, issues or problems because of your point of view. And one thing very beautiful is about the retrograde Mercury: it may be stingy, it may have relationship issues, but they have no qualms on calling a spade, and they will openly you know uh, they will openly be very candid about hypocrisy that they face. They can tell you that, because the second house is also the house of morals, values, and administration. So if they find a flaw somewhere, they are very candid about it, and it's not a retrograde Mercury that will internalize it and say, okay, I'll put it across in a different way on a certain day. The second house is also your speech. It's not oratorship like third house where you think twice and talk. So it will be very candid and say, hello, sorry, this is wrong. What you're doing is so against the principles. Okay, thank you so much, Sunita. So that is something that retrograde Mercury does, Venus does. And finally, uh, it's about your way of presentation. It's retrograde. You're thinking how to present things. The seventh house is your interaction with the public on a platform. So your and Mercury and Venus is skills. So you will have skills which are different from rest, and your way of presenting those skills will be by far different from others. And that can create people can look up to you and where has she come up from. But at a later date, they will come back and say, see, you did that day and I could not understand it, but now I realize that it was so much in vogue. That is the same thing in vogue. Thank you so much, Archie. So this retrograde Mercury will always give us an opportunity wherever it is standing. If it's in the fifth house for you, if it's in the second house, if it's in the fifth house for you, anything in your school, in your college, in your school, you would just go and you find a lot of hypocrisy there. You are not one of those people to sit back and take it from such people. You'll just say, I am not afraid of saying that, the school management needs to change on these principles. Or for that matter, you can always be at war with your children, because you can be very critical about your children and say, see, do things like this, and they can always tell you that this is not what we want to do. Okay, when we talk about retrograde Mercury, Venus in the sixth house, in such a case, you can get a maid who can be very candid about things to you and say, excuse me, ma'am, you need to get these things straight. Retrograde Mercury, Venus in the fourth house, you will be stingy about buying a car. You will think about buying the best within your budget only. So you might not be able to buy the best of the vehicle or the comfort, because the fourth house is also your comfort zone. You would learn to make do with just the budget amount of comfort. You may have a lot in life, but you're not willing to spend that much. Because it's Venus, probably that is why I'm going around the other way around. Just for records, Venus does not spin in the same way as the other planets. Okay, so Venus, when we talk about retrograde Venus in the second house, you're very, very candid on lots of things. It's the owner of the second house, and so money matters, writing, reading, all these things you would be very, and family affairs, you will be one of those people to say that, this person was not very nice. You don't have qualms even calling your mother not a very up to mark kind of a person. And if it's on the lagna, you can be extremely critical about your own self. You would be wanting to be in the best, and you will fall short in your own eyes about it. And if you could also be doubting your own individuality. So when we're talking about retrograde Venus in the 12th house, again, your problems, somebody's problems about sexuality can rise up. Thank you so much, Archie. Somebody's problems on sexuality can be on the forefront, because as I told you people, one of the karakatvas of Venus is all about marriage, and 12th house is the physical aspect of it, and the 8th house. Let's talk about retrograde Venus in the the there's a lot we can elaborate on. There's so much we can elaborate on every planet, retrograde planet, but then it's not possible to cover in just 1 hour. So finally we are moving on to retrograde Venus in the 7th house. Where was I? In the 11th house. In the 11th house, when we talk about retrograde Venus, you're very circumspect about the people you make associations with. You would definitely not be making associations with every person you meet. You would be very snobbish at times and will be very careful about whom to interact with, because 11th house is the house of your associations. It is the house of your fixed income, so you would always be worried about your fixed income, and no matter how much you get it, you would be probably spending only half of it, because you also want to put it inside. When we talk about retrograde Venus in the 10th house, this is a classic case to actually watch, because you will see that retrograde Mercury is affable to everybody in the 10th house. This Venus is like, I don't mind taking anybody heads on when there's a flaw or defect in the system. So these people have problems at work. Retrograde Venus in the 9th house, you would be critical probably. Thank you so much, Archie. You would be probably critical about your elders, the way they do things, and if they are in the name of tradition, they're being extremely bossy or bigoted, you would have absolutely no qualms in letting go of those values system and telling them on the face about it as such. In the 8th house, retrograde Venus can, we take up the sexual issue again, because according to Western astrology, 8th house is also about sexuality, and it is also about sadhana. So here you can convert your sexuality into sadhana also. That gives you a very opportunate moment to do so. And when you have they behave in their own right, Nimisha, they behave in their own way. Two planets which are retrograde, two planets which are direct, how do they behave? They behave like each other, like the way in the direct way. And I mean, see, it's red, you add with white, what do you get? You get pink. So two retrogrades, it's again a very dependent question about which two planets are retrograde, right? And I'm not going to take up your chart, because as you said, apart from one planet, you have most of the planet which are retrograde. Okay, so now we come on to the 7th house. Yes, retrograde Venus in the 7th house, it can cause huge issues in marriage. First of all, karako bhavnashaya, and then you are critical about your spouse, your partners. Do you really, I mean, nobody wants somebody hammering on your head throughout 24/7. So you say, please go, please back off. So these people have that problem in their married life. When we talk about retrograde so we 6th house, I think we covered the entire zodiac. In signs, different signs, they will have the different approach. In different nakshatras, a very different approach. Okay, so quickly here, anybody, any question before we wind up the session for the day? You can submit the email address on our phone number 9111, and please do not expect an answer from us there and then at that same time. We will send you a mail within a day or two. Tomorrow also we have a Hindi webinar, so in which we will be talking about retrograde planets in Hindi. So we will send the books to you in 2 to 3 days time, rest assured that book will reach you. Okay.
Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, please go ahead.
Ma'am, if a planet is if a planet is retrograde in its own nakshatra, ma'am, so how can we think about it?
That's it's a
results,
very
ma'am?
strong. It's a very strong. It's a very strong planet in that case. Okay. Retrograde Jupiter and Saturn, I think, unfortunately we'll have to leave it here because we are way off our time period. Okay. Remedies
much.
for, yes, Mr.
Ma'am.
Dibakar. Yeah, Mr. Dibakar, that's a good one. Remedies for retrograde planets. I think doing our karma is the biggest remedy that we can find anywhere on the planet, because it's like something that is not going to lose sight of you, whether you want it to or not. The more you run, the more it will catch up with you. So best to complete that karma. Otherwise, in this lifetime, if you haven't completed, you will come back with a bang in the next. Okay, thank you everyone.
Hello, ma'am.
Ma'am, it was an
One more
excellent
question,
session,
please.
ma'am.
Yes. I think, okay, please Keshav, last question. Okay. Thank
Okay, if the two retrograde planets sitting together, is gonna be a same effect like sitting on the retrograde and the regular planet, or the two
No,
retrograde?
they will
There's a
have their
different
own
meaning.
effect. They will have their own effects. I mean, see, two trains are going in the opposite direction. Okay, they're again not in the same speed, but this effects will be different. And I will have to check the chart. This is something when I need to check the chart, see the chart, which are the planets, which nakshatra, which house, and then I can give you a very good result on that. But then that is something that I need to check there. Okay, in all probabilities, it could be Saturn and Jupiter sitting retrograding together, which happened 60 years ago when they were in Sagittarius. In that case, such a person can have a very different view about finances, and can have a very different, because Saturn is Karm Karak there, and it is going to make sure that you work hard for your finances and for your family. Jupiter will give you a very different way of investments of those very finances, because second house is about finances. So it can give you, it's the lord of the ninth house. So the way you invest things and the way you see them coming out, the charities that you give to your money, it can be very different from the rest.
Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Yeah, last question, Sabita.
Ma'am, if someone's chart 3 or 4 planets are retrograde, then how can it see?
Right. See, so if a single planet, though I have made one of my very first videos was on a retrograde planet, but you see, if a single planet is retrograde, such a person would always want to work on a single level, wouldn't want to do things with a number of people. When there are two planets which are retrograde, this person is fairly all right, balanced, can work with anything. When three planets are retrograde, in such a case, a person is a go-getter. You're pushed by those retrograde planets to do hard work. That's too much of cheshta bal working in your chart. When there are 4 planets retrograde, then in such a case, such a person will need to be directed all their life. Okay, so there is as I said, all these things are all the literature, which is a lot of these literature is available in olden Western books, astrology books, which is very very beautiful, which are very beautiful. Unfortunately, we don't read them much, but then there are a warehouse of information, at least as far as Western retrograde planets are concerned.
Ma'am, these peoples are always be disturbed in their life.
All of us are disturbed, regular planets and retrograde planets. We are here to sort out our karma, Sabita. So don't worry. All of us are disturbed. It's only the retrograde planets who need to find their path. And if you sit back for a few minutes and concentrate, you will get your path.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering me.
Thank you. Most welcome. So,
ma'am, it was an excellent session, ma'am. It was very nice session, very informative, and ma'am, everything was on point, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Archie, for your confirmation, for your appreciation. I'm humbled at your
the remedy. The remedy part was the best, that do your karma, otherwise you'll have to come back like you came this time.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Prateek. Yes. See, those who have attended the Hindi session, English session, if you want to attend the Hindi session, well, we have a lot of registrations. It will be on the first come, first serve basis. So only those people who have not been able to attend will be given the chance first. And if there is space, we'll definitely let you in. You can always try. The recording, I'm sorry, we will upload it. We do not know when our back-end administrative team will upload it, but we'll surely sooner or later upload it on YouTube. The recording is for our purposes. I think we've learned enough. Don't you think we have taken down enough notes, taken enough screenshots at that?
Yes, ma'am, it was awesome.
Thank you so much, Neetu.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much.
Nice deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, all of you, for being here.